Surviving infidelity. Boy meets girl. Boy, do I have a story to tell you. We separated last August after being together for 19 years. We started dating when we were teenagers. We are in our 30s now. Last week, I found crucial info that proved my gut feeling was right, but I didn't want to believe anything bad about my wife back then. Now that feelings are gone, I realize she manipulated me and used gaslighting to skew my vision. I made a list of all the changes in her last year, and everything started in the end of 2019. She had started a new job few months earlier in a male-dominated office with diverse backgrounds. Before that, she worked in her parents' family business. Here's the list. November 2019, a big overnight party with her co-workers. Late 2019, went crazy about Afrobeat music. This genre comes from Nigeria. December 2019, all of a sudden became very actual for a few weeks. January 2020, started to lose weight. Big time. Early 2020, started to consider smoking grass. Not sure if she tried it. Early 2020, bragged how they're calling her Miss, company's name, and how guys wanted to take group pictures with her at work events. Early spring 2020, was proud when she found out that her boss's son had seen her picture and said I want her number. June 2020, cautiously told me something's wrong in our relationship, but wants to work at it. By the way, didn't do any work. July 2020, told me she wants to break up, and seemed defeated that I wanted to fight for our relationship. July and August she wrecked me mentally and emotionally. She was in a hurry to divorce. I did everything wrong, and she became extremely cold and angry. She actually laughed when she saw my antidepressant pills that I had started. She told me that she hopes I can make her feel something on our anniversary, and day after that, told me I had 1 month to make everything work. Otherwise, I should give her the divorce nicely and wanted me to shake hands on that. August 2020, she pinpointed the reasons for divorce on me, and I accepted the blame and told her we should divorce if she doesn't want to feel anything. Post-agreement to divorce, she started to help me financially and told me how I could date our female friends. I couldn't believe her, and knew she felt guilt but had no proof. Everyone saw the signs of cheating and my gut told me the same thing, but I didn't believe it. I owed her to defend her and believe the best of her. September 2020, we had lots of neutral friends but she immediately cut contacts with everyone. September 2020, she told me it's best we don't tell anyone about details of our breakup. This seemed fishy because I believed I was the problem. Why would she protect my reputation? Late 2020, started to post about Nigeria's riots. This was her first political post ever. She just never cared what's going on around the world. Why now? And why Nigeria? The missing pieces were handed to me this month. She called me last weekend rambling how she wishes to be transparent with me. I told her I'm not interested, you are part of my past, so there's no need to share anything that's not related to her daughter. She kept it in and I realized she wants to tell me about a new man. I told her go ahead, it's quite clear. She told me she has started to see someone since December, but it's not serious yet. Just casual dating. I asked her if it would be okay not to tell our kid yet and she agreed. I'm still oblivious. I'm thinking she's met someone new and rationalized everything with how she had already worked through the divorce while I was blindsided, so of course her recovery is faster. Then comes the next day and she drops my kid off. I ask her to step aside and ask her to tell me truthfully what our kid knows. She tells me that she hasn't told anything, but is not going to live in secrecy. The kid has heard her on the phone with the new guy. I tell her once again I don't think it's wise to tell the kid anything yet, since everything is so new and they are finally becoming stable in all these changes. She tells me she wants to be open with the kid and gets frustrated. At this point, I know she can't handle anything if I disagree with her, so I disarm the situation saying just put children first, and stopped the conversation. Day later, I had a talk with my kid and told them how it's part of life that after divorce, new partners will come at some point, but kids are always the most important thing for parents. Long story short, my ex had told them weeks ago how she has a new boyfriend. So my ex lied to me that our kid doesn't know yet. She had actually showed the man's pic for them. And wouldn't you know, the guy is her colleague. Also a Nigerian. This explains interest in Nigerian culture and politics. My ex worked crazy hours without any extra compensation. It was male-dominated office and she had previously told me about getting attention there. All this time I took full guilt of our divorce, when she was really monkey branching. I almost ended myself because of my failure. This knowledge actually set me free. I can finally see clearly. My instinct was right, but I was under manipulator's influence. Previously, I thought that my ex was a gift that I had lost, but now I see, me losing her was the gift. I haven't lost anything of value. I'm finally free. This new information brings me to a new territory. She's been playing chess while I was playing checkers. Unfortunately, I have a child with her, so I can't stop playing with her, but I can join her and move to playing chess too. I feel like everything has to be strategically planned out at this point. I knew that this info is not something I can react with emotion, so I let a couple days pass by to cool down. I realize that confronting her now doesn't bring me anything. I have nothing to gain if she confesses or denies. No. This info is valuable and should not be given out without a thought. This is a wild card if used correctly, if it ever comes to that. I decided to test if she sticks to her story by acting like I know nothing and still believe her. I asked her to come talk with me. I told her that I think it's important that we respect each other as parents and put our child first. Basically, I repeated things she told me and she stuck by them. She could have come clean and told that our kid knows already, but nope. I told her it meant a lot to me and how fair she was by telling me first about the man and not go to her child before that. That should bring some weight to her baggage if she has any conscience left. I also said if you've been dating him for a few months, it's not a good idea to introduce him to her child. She needs time to learn this man's values and how she behaves in a conflict. Lol. Tell the truth, you've been screwing for over a year. Stay silent and agree? You guessed it, stay silent. She agreed on everything and told me she's impressed how I've taken the news that she's dating, and she's read articles how to bring a new partner in this kind of situation in life, so it was clear to her to tell me first. She told me that for her it was important that she can share things because of our history. She told me that maybe it brings me relief that the man is a Christian. Cool, home-wrecking Christian. Great values. She also said that when time comes, I can tell her about my partner. She must feel so mighty with seeing me alone, but I told her that I know but I'm not in a hurry. We dated since teens and this is my first time to be single, so I want to keep self-improving and concentrate on myself without rush. She's very good at this. She seems so real in her lies that she must believe her story as well. We were very codependent throughout our relationship. I've now learned for the first time in my life to be independent and want to keep working on myself. I don't need outside validation to know I have value. When I go to a relationship, I want to be whole by myself and have healthy boundaries. The path she took doesn't give her independence, self-growth, time to reflect on lessons from past relationship, and is still based on codependency, especially since she cut all her friends off. I hope she got what she wanted with her affair partner. I wonder what is left when the excitement of cheating and secrecy is over and a normal relationship starts, especially since the foundation of their relationship is based on cheating. She is pretty, but that's all she can offer. She's one of the most boring persons you have ever come across, and her taking a guy's culture shows how empty and how impressionable she is. She's like dough. She doesn't deserve anything from me, not even a thought, but is a cautionary example of how rotten people can prove to be. I'm not going to help her come clean. It's not my responsibility to fix this anymore. Let her feel the weight of her decisions. Let her one day realize what she did with letting me take the fall for breaking our marriage and family unit, just because she doesn't have a spine to be honest. I have closed the door and she will never have another chance. I'm the one that got away. She left me in ruins, but I have rebuilt myself. I'm bulletproof, and I'm walking away as a new and improved man. Now for the top comments. Reading your timeline of events gave me flashbacks of the last year I was married. Slowly watching your spouse change and there's nothing you can do about it. You find yourself making excuses for them while taking on all the blame. Then the day comes when you finally figure it out and the blinders come off. It's almost too much to absorb all the lies you've been told. I'm 2 years out and I'm still not recovered yet. Hang in there for your kids and make them the priority. None of this was your fault. Went through the same. It gets better. Keep focusing on yourself and the rest will take care of itself. What? A good Christian man? I'm sorry, I'd have burst out laughing at that point. I'd simply have quoted Proverbs 30:20, Proverbs 25:24, Matthew 5:32, Matthew 19:9, Ephesians 5 and John 15. Great job on maintaining your cool. Maybe you could blow their crap up by reporting to HR anonymously. That's how I got my pound of flesh from my ex's affair partner. Well, one of the ways. I am glad you have introspected enough and determined the issues regarding your codependency. You are completely right on the point of external validation. I am sure your recovery process will just be faster and better. Relationships born of affairs usually fizzle out in a year or so, when the NRE wears off and they realize that their affair partner doesn't fart glitter dust. It's usually cause in workplace affairs, the cheaters have the best of each other, while the worst part, day-to-day affairs, child rearing, running a household, is shared with the betrayed spouse. It's almost inevitable that she will come crawling back from the rubble of that relationship. I've seen it happen for about 70% of betrayed spouses here, if I can ballpark a guess. That's when you say you appreciate her feelings and emotions, but you have moved on from the relationship and she should as well. Big her up when you talk to her. Say that she was the love of your life, the meaning of it, an angel descended from heaven, etc., etc. But that you can't go back to a relationship with her anymore, since you aren't the same person anymore, and the divorce process has changed you. Pedestalize her to such an extreme level that she believes with all honesty that you have zero clue about the infidelity, are still in love with her, but just won't take her back cause you're scared of the hurt. Make her out to be the most perfect person to have ever walked on planet Earth. Believe me, when she realizes how you, apparently, love her and worship her, in spite of how she traumatized and used you and predated on you for her own desires, she will have a mental breakdown from the guilt and shame. 10 years later, inform her gleefully that you knew all about the affair, and you just wanted her to stew in her guilt all this time. That now the scales have been balanced, and that now she understands 10% of the hurt you have undergone. Stop the games, dude, it's not worth it. Stop talking to her about other stuff, focus on the kid. Focus on self-improvement. The quicker you leave her behind in your mind, the better. There is no good ending to the game you are playing. Live your life. Forget and forgive. Hope you find happiness. You are right, she is still consuming my head, especially since I know the truth now. I want to be indifferent and forget the person. Best revenge is a happy life, and holding a grudge or planning a revenge will keep her in my head. There's a part of me that wants to see her break down, but I know it won't bring me peace. I just need some time to get through these intense emotions. Now for the last story. Wife of 6 years cheated. Stay or go? My wife and I have been married for almost 6 years now, and recently she moved states to get a master's degree. Originally, we had planned on me moving down with her, but in the end, we mutually decided the stability of my job plus insurance plus just buying a house outweighed the benefit of moving. We had done the long distance thing while dating and both overcame the obstacles. At the beginning of the year, one of her old roommates moved out and found a new roommate to replace her, a 22-year-old from Spain that was teaching in the same program as my wife. My wife would make comments to me every once in a while about how attractive he is, which wasn't super uncommon for her. One day we were talking, and she randomly asked how I would feel about an open relationship. This was completely out of left field and something I never saw coming, but she had developed a little bit of a crush on this guy, and basically wanted permission to act on it. I said no, because I had no intention of venturing outside of our marriage, because I love my wife completely. She said okay, and that she would respect my wishes, and I thought that was the end of it. About a week later, a few days before I was supposed to go down and visit her for the weekend, she asked if I was really sure about my position, and once again I reiterated that yes, I had no interest in an open marriage. We had a decently big fight after this, and in the end, she said she wouldn't like me to come visit anymore, which devastated me because I thought this would be a chance to work on our relationship. Things were rocky for a bit after that, but she decided to come up for Valentine's Day weekend. She spent all weekend on her phone texting her new roommate, which was already a huge red flag. I caught a glance of her phone a couple times because I'm definitely the jealous type, and was devastated at what I saw. I was seeing messages such as "I love your sexy eyes," and "next time can we try it in a chair?" I sat for a day thinking about it, and finally confronted her about it the next morning. It turns out they'd actually been having intercourse for the last few weeks, and there were a lot more vulgar texts, and there was no plan on telling me without me finding out like that. She also told me that the real reason she didn't want me to come, is because she didn't want things to be awkward with her and the guy as roommates. The conversation eventually devolved into that she hadn't felt noticed by me in the 5 years we've been married, and our intimate life was basically non-existent, but she discovered again with this guy that she is actually a very actual person, and that he gave her the companionship that I hadn't been. It turns out I hadn't been listening to what she had been telling me the whole time. She had told me she felt trapped, how she had dreams of moving around the world, how she wanted to see the world, but I was hearing but never really listening to her, because I didn't want to give up the stability of our current life. I always had the intention of getting to these things eventually, but I wanted to make sure we were financially stable enough to do so. So here I am. I realize that I pushed her to this point. She has instilled his tell me that she loves me and will always love me, and that her thing with this guy is purely lust with no feelings whatsoever. I just don't know what to do. I told her how sorry I was and how much I will work to change and be a better person/husband, and she still does want things to work with me. I just don't know if I'm digging myself deeper by continuing on with her. We've been together 10 years now, with almost 6 being married, which is basically 1/3 of my life, and something about that won't allow me to objectively say I'm done. My mental health this week is not in a good place, because every waking second that we're not talking, my brain immediately goes to, are they having intercourse? What is she doing? Things of that nature. I'm going to see a shrink later this week about this because I don't know what else to do. Now for the top advice. To OP. This will be long, and harsh. Apologies in advance. 1. Your marriage, as you thought you knew it, is over. Reread that. Internalize that too. Lawyer up, today. 3. Separate financially. Today. Open a new account where your paycheck goes. Her name is not on the account. 4. Get tested for STDs, today. Moving forward part 1. 5. Eat better, exercise more, drink water. 6. Do not leave your house to think on it, or whatever. In some states, that can be seen as abandoning the spouse/domicile. 7. Go through all computers, social media, folders, apps, everything. Undelete everything. 7a. Make copies. Lawyer will want these copies. 7b. There is SW to undelete anything on the computer. 7c. If you pay her cell phone bill, call the provider for all text and call logs. Lawyer will want this. Moving forward part 2. 8. Your spouse was already cheating. Asking for an open relationship means she was looking for your permission to do something she was already doing. 9. Your spouse does not respect you, or your marriage. I have my doubts if this was her first time. 10. Reconciliation is a non-starter. Until she shows remorse, true remorse, you're her provider while she messes around. 11. Do not blame yourself. She did not communicate, until after the cheating, that she wanted something. She made the choice to cheat. 12. Marriage counseling is another non-starter. The marriage counselor is interested in keeping you together, not your best interests, and until the wife shows remorse and separates 100% from her affair partner, marriage counselor is a waste of time. Also, marriage counselor helps if you both live together, not in separate states or domiciles. 13. Once your wife realizes you have done 1 and 2, she will suddenly become more attentive. This is a tactic on her part to have you accept her behavior. Your strategy is known as gray rock. 13a. Expect in any conversation any of the following: lies, gaslighting, trickle truth, yelling, screaming, attempts at intimacy, crying, or a combination. 13b. Again, gray rock. Final word of warning: if you take her back, you have condoned her behavior. Remember OP, you deserve to be somebody's first and only choice. And thank your stars you don't have kids with this cheater. I very much appreciate this write-up. It's fantastic. Is her masters in mind effery? She cheated and you apologized. True. She apologized at the time, but I asked if she was sorry it happened, or sorry she got caught, and couldn't really give me a straight answer there. Even though all know what it really is. I bet she screwed him before she asked you for an open relationship, in hopes you'd say yes and she didn't have to feel guilty. If the house is in only your name, I'd box her stuff up and have it ready for her to move out the next time she graciously blesses you with her presence. Run. Both fast and far. She's saying you weren't hearing her? Communication is a two-way street. If she felt that way, then try another method to get across her issues. If that failed, then she should have moved along. That's what any reasonable person would do. But that's the problem, she is not a reasonable person and I am so sorry for your pain. This reasoning is merely an excuse to justify what she's doing, nothing more, nothing less. At the end of the day, what she is now thinking is anytime she desires someone outside of your marriage, she can blame on you for the most menial reasons, and get away with it. She's saying you hurt me by not listening, so that means it's okay for me to hurt you by having an affair. And throwing it in your face. Because she's such a lovely wee petal. That was kinda what I was trying to figure out in all of this as well. If she never viewed me as a suitable husband because of all these things, why did she stick around? I can't help but think it was for the stability, and not really having anywhere else to go. And that's it for this video guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day everyone.